There's armed guards everywhere. And if Blue finds out, we're dead. We're already dead.
You're afraid. Don't be. To reach your own paradise. Just let go. What you're imagining right now, you control this world.
On one hand, there is a challenge and a kind of opportunity with the first two worlds, whether that be the insane asylums / brothel, that transition. And that's pretty straightforward. That one had to, like, the architecture and everything had to sort of, the two worlds had to speak to each other and, you know, sort of had to carry across all the sort of metaphors of sort of loss of innocence and virginity and all the craziness. And then the fantasy worlds, those happened, I knew it wouldn't be that difficult to create separation in those worlds because they were so different, you know, they were so crazy, you know, giant samurai or, you know, German soldiers or whatever. They're easy to, like, they have nothing to do with this small claustrophobic world that the girls were stuck in. So I feel like that's kind of how we approached it.
You know, the idea is that this fantasy world is within her imagination. I think it was really important that my character stayed pretty solid throughout the whole, I mean, I can't speak for the other girls, but I think from, you know, asylum to brothel to the fantasy worlds, I think Baby's pretty, the character is, it pretty much stays the same for me.
You see, your fight for survival starts right now. You don't want to be judged? You won't be. You don't think you're strong enough? You are. You're afraid. Don't be. You have all the weapons you need. Now fight.
She's a psychiatrist, a Polish woman at the mental institution, 1960s. And really trying actually to kind of push the limits of what was being done then in psychiatry. I think she is actually trying to kind of explore new terrain, and it's not necessarily supported by the rest of the people at the hospital. And I think she also knows that some shady stuff is going on and doesn't necessarily feel like she's in the position to be able to do anything about it. So instead of looking at it straight in the eye, she kind of avoids it, and ultimately by the end can't any longer.
The first thing we need is a map to figure out where all the exits are. Second thing we need is something to start a fire with, as a distraction for when we escape. Plus, the fire should disable all the checkpoints. And the third thing is a knife, in case we run into any trouble. The cook. We can do it. Okay? And the last thing's a key.
Blue wears a key around his neck.
What door does it open?
It's for all of them, I think. It's a master key. I'm in. So am I.
Me too.
All right. But I'm only doing this because you guys get caught without me, okay? And if it gets too hairy, if I say it's over, we stop.
Okay. Okay.
You know, Sweet Pea is such a byproduct of that system and is so conformed to it and feels like the only way to be free is to abide by the rules and hope that one day someone's going to let her and Rocket out the door. So that's her mentality, is to go by the book, but by living like that, she's kind of compressed herself inside. It's like there's such a tough, hard outer shell, you know, and the inner child is just so locked away. And I think this girl, Baby Doll, comes in with this, you know, crazy plan that for Sweet Pea has such dire consequences. It's not as simple as just like not getting to eat dinner or, you know, being isolated for a while. It could result in, you know, physical harm, if not, you know, death.
I think that in each of the worlds, we're still playing the same character. It's just different versions of ourselves, you know? I mean, I think everyone sort of has their different version. I mean, if you put on a suit, you're gonna feel like a different man, you know, and you might carry yourself a little bit differently than if you were just walking around in boxer shorts, you know? I mean, mean, and I feel like each of the realities kind of caters to, you know, the first reality, which is the ultimate reality of this sort of asylum, caters to the insecurities, the slumped shoulders, the holding the in, everything in is the repression, and then, you know, the burlesque world is more of like there's a slight control, but it's dangerous, you know, and we're kind of trying to push the boundaries, but we don't really have that much freedom to do so. Whereas, you know, in the fight worlds, it's ultimate, it's boundless, it's limitless. We can control as much as we want. We can do whatever we want. We can, you know, as many men that could be against us, we can stand our own.
The really interesting thing about Blondie is it's kind of like a alternate parallel kind of thing with her, because I mean, she does a lot of things out of fear, I feel, and when you're doing things out of fear, they're not necessarily the smartest, and sometimes you can overcompensate with other things out of insecurity and out of fear, but you do see a lot of her vulnerability.
I feel like her loyalty and her commitment to the mission, you know, flows very nicely throughout the throughout the two sub-realities. You know, she pulls through for the girls when they need her the most. In World War I, in the train world, on a different planet. But, you know, she's there for Baby Doll and the sacrifices that she makes.
I try. I do. And all I ask for in return is just for respect, honesty. You know, oh, that's okay, Mark. A give and take relationship. But it's come to my attention, it's come to our attention, that a few bad eggs, led by one little egg in particular, have spit in the face of that generosity and are plotting against me. Me.
Your protector. And for me, you know, the idea that he's this orderly at this same asylum, and yet somehow he's been able to get some control of the place, either because it's run very inefficiently or because he just has the will to do that. And you know, so he's it's unusual that someone at his status has gotten this kind of control over this place. And he does some pretty vile things like selling lobotomies and who knows what else he does, or you know, yeah, doing that kind of thing. And then in the second, you know, he's also someone that's, I think, powerless and is always seeking that.
We're at a place now where video games have transcended they're their own thing. You know, it used to be I think in the old days, people, it's like a video game, right? That's a negative connotation. Now I feel like if you can really do it, you know, if it's also like a video game. The funny thing is, I was talking to someone like there was this, this woman from Vogue magazine saying like, it reminded me of a video game, and I'm like, have you ever played a video game? No. Well, it's kind of a weird thing to say that, because if you actually go play some games and then watch the movie, you'll see that it's sort of transcendent in a lot of ways. I mean, yes, it owes some language to the video game world, but it's also aspirational to the video game